as he bowed in front of Ramlala in Ayodhya. So we start with those pictures, those fantastic pictures of Rajnikant right there at Ayodhya. He visited Hanumangadi, and today on his way back, when he was asked, how was your visit to Ayodhya, he said, superb, excellent, magnificent. So clearly, Rajni over the moon, not just with the success of Jailer, but also after this darshan of Ramlala and his meeting with the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Now, if that man is over the moon, let's talk about another aspect, ladies and gentlemen, of Chandrayaan 3, which is quite literally over the moon, and it should be touching down on the surface of the moon at around 6:04 p.m. on Wednesday, the 23rd of August. That's when the touchdown is expected. The journey began on the 14th of July. All eyes on Bharat's triumph, where Russia's lunar module failed on the dark side of the moon. Why? To demonstrate safe and soft landing. 2. To demonstrate rover rowing on the moon surface, to conduct in situ scientific experiments, and most importantly, it will put India on the global space race right up there with the 3 other nations, US, Russia and China. And we would have done what no other nation has been able to achieve so far. Land on the dark side of the moon in the South Pole on the Atkins Basin, the biggest crater. But tonight on The Right Stand, our first debate focuses on a much larger malaise closer home. The scam of all scams in scholarships.
পশ্চিমবঙ্গে এটা সবচেয়ে বড় স্ক্যাম। মাইনরিটি স্কলারশিপের স্ক্যাম পশ্চিমবঙ্গে সবচেয়ে বড়। মুর্শিদাবাদে আছে, আমার কাছে এই ডকুমেন্ট আছে, এটা ভারত সরকার গতকাল সিবিআইকে ট্রান্সফার করে দিয়েছে।
This exposure of mega fraud, cheating, misappropriation, we find that there have been fake bank accounts, there have been fake institutions, fake scholarships.
It is believed that the central government has asked for a probe in this whole matter. But just by asking for a probe, they cannot absolve themselves from this whole issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday here at CNN News 18, we exposed the biggest minority scholarship scam, the fraud of all frauds that's been going on for quite a while now. In a stunning disclosure, the Ministry of Minority Affairs sources revealed to News 18 that out of a total of 1,572 minority institutions across 21 states, which the NCAER investigated at the behest of the Minorities Ministry and also the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, out of those 21 states plus the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a staggering 830 have fraudulently claimed nearly 144 crore rupees in fake scholarships over the last 5 years. So out of 1,572 investigated, nearly 53% of them are fake institutions, minority institutions drawing scholarships, central scholarships, 100% paid by the central government. It's the taxpayers' money. The investigation encompasses over 8 crore scholarships that have been awarded across the 34 states and union territories. Nearly 80% of these scholarships directed towards Muslim groups, madrasas, tribal schools, and also officials are under investigation for allegedly siphoning of funds that are allocated for pre-matric scholarships by the Minority Affairs Ministry. The report also highlights the existence of 40 crore fraudulent bank accounts. Beg your pardon, that number has to be checked, that more than 40 lakh fraudulent bank accounts with completed KYC formalities. Let's try and break down the probe details for you. First up, the report very clearly states that the ministry had officially lodged a complaint and in this matter back on the 10th of July, with Union Minister Smriti Irani also having escalated this matter to the CBI for further probe. What happened is, the question was asked in Parliament by Rajya Sabha member Dr. Shashi Tharoor saying what are the number of applications under the pre-matric scheme, and the Union Minister's reply is that there were irregularities that were noticed in the scheme. So that was a question that was asked, whether 11.65 applications have been blocked. The action has been taken to weed out irregularities and re-verification, with the confirmation that there are 26 lakh verified scholarship this year also. So that was what was said. So what was the investigation that was conducted and how did they stumble upon it? And this was done by the National Council for Applied Economic Research, or NCAER. Now here are some of the big numbers. The numbers reveal that 53% of the institutions that were surveyed pan-India turned out to be fake. 100% of the institutions in Chhattisgarh, there are 62 institutions registered in Chhattisgarh, all of them fake. 99 out of the 128 institutes in Rajasthan, fake. 69% institutions in Assam, fake. 64% institutions in Karnataka, fake. 60% institutions in Uttarakhand, fake. 44% of the institutions in Uttar Pradesh, fake. 40% of the institutions in Madhya Pradesh, fake. 39% of the institutions in West Bengal, fake. The National Council of Applied Economic Research, or the NCAER probe, also reveals that how deserving students have actually been duped. 8 lakh scholarships. 8 lakh scholarships have been given in the last 5 years only in one district of Malappuram. Nearly 1.75 lakh scholarships every year in just one district. Scholarships. So we all know how easy, difficult it is, and there is a limited number of students, but this is the number in just from one district. And there were cases like in Jammu and Kashmir, where from one particular school in Anantnag, whose declared strength is 5,000 people, there were 7,000 applications. 1.32 lakh cases falsely claiming hostel facilities. 66,000 scholarship accounts from one branch of a bank in Nagaon in Assam. Understand the geographical location of these places as we are citing them, and then you would understand the dynamic and perhaps the far-reaching consequences of such a fraud. 405 scholarship accounts linked to one mobile number. Investigations revealed for the year 2018-2019, a single mobile number had 2,239 accounts linked to it. In the period between 2019 and 2020, a total of 577 scholarship accounts were linked to one single mobile number. Now, let's try and understand why it was such a big fraud, and largely in the post-matric issue. Now, since Smriti Irani took over, what had happened is that from class 1 to 8, nearly 40 lakh scholarships were cancelled because education is free for up to class 8 across the states in government institutions, or backed by government or recognized by government. So minority institutions, there's no need to draw these scholarships. Education is free. 40 lakh scholarships when they were cancelled. Was there a furor? There was no uproar. What was then realized? That in class 9, the moment the scholarship money is into the account, 66% of the students drop out. In class 8, 67% of the students drop out the moment the money is into your account. So because the money is paid annually. So at the start of the curriculum year, when the money is paid, when you got to pay the fees, at that time you get the scholarship money, and after that students drop out. But next year, fresh list surfaces. Class 7 also, 68% dropouts after taking money. So clearly in the pre-matric realm is where large part of this scamming was going on. The probe has further unearthed glaring red flags. What are the red flags? First up, multiple concentration of accounts in a single bank branch. Like we said, Nagaon, 66,000 accounts. Multiple scholarship accounts found with one mobile number. 2,000 plus accounts with one mobile number. One SIM card had 22 scholarships in the same class. That means it's a parent or a guardian with 22 wards in the same class. Possible? Question. Schools where applications are bigger than the strength itself. We cited one of the case in points in Jammu and Kashmir. So these were institutions with no hostels but claiming benefit for hostels. It's because hostel rates means that the dole is greater. So from 4,000 it goes up to say 9,000 hypothetically. So there are no hostels but they are claiming hostel benefits. So look at the money that's being looted. So this is also there. And schools for tribals and girls drawing scholarship for minority boys. It's a girls only school, tribals only school, but minority boys. And in one case, it was lodged in one state, say in Chhattisgarh. but the students were all listed, they were all from Karnataka. So across the state. So all of this has also happened. Let's try and see what kind of reactions that have come in so far. Let's try and understand what else has been done. The reactions, ladies and gentlemen, the surprising part is there is deafening silence. Nobody wants to talk much about it. From the BJP also, some of the voices that have spoken from within the BJP, let's try and see. There you go. This is Amit Malviya, who tweeted saying, if you are wondering why there is deafening silence on the embezzlement of funds under the scholarship schemes of minorities, it is because there were fake beneficiaries, fake institutions getting scholarships, connivance with schools, institute nodal officers, banking correspondents. These were accounts, money transferred directly. So somebody was opening these accounts doing KYC. आप सोच रहे हैं कितना बड़ा फर्जीवाड़ा हो रहा है? Then, scholarship schemes. Let's try and see. Pre-matric, post-matric scholarship, everything. And it was only, that's what they are saying, in 2016 that the National Scholarship Portal was implemented, and Amit Malviya going on to detail out further more details, saying that there was a established method. The UPA methods were incorporated and there was a lot of fudging of data that happened. But this fudging of data continued even into the NSP or the digitalization through the National Scholarship Portal. Now let's try and understand what Shuvendu Adhikari had to say. Shuvendu Adhikari has tweeted, and he has two tweets there. The first tweet, he has said, this is how minority communities are squeezed for profit in a state governed by a so-called secular party. And then let's try and read the whole tweet. He has said that in Bengal itself, that 39%, this is the operative part, 39% of the institutes where students belonging to minority community were supposedly availing scholarship have been found to be fake. He has also said that the verification process which affirms whether a student is eligible for the scholarship or not is done by a nodal officer. And he says in West Bengal, persons pretending to be such nodal officers from the institutes are TMC leaders, and that is why their verification process was approved by the officials of minority affairs. And no cross-checking was done. District nodal officers, elected officers or government officers were sending it back saying it's verified, but upon verification it's all found to be fake. And then he has gone on to also attach 3 FIRs that have been lodged with their dates and also the documents. So that's the scale of this entire scam, ladies and gentlemen. Mind you, there are nearly 1,86,000 plus minority institutions in our country. What's been investigated is only 1,572. So if only 1,572 have been investigated, of which 830 are fake, 53% out of 1,570, it's such a small sample out of 186. What happens then for the remaining 1,80,000 odd institutes is a big question. Let's go across to our guest this evening to talk about this and also understand why are so many people quiet? Nobody wants to talk about it. Abhijit Majumdar, consulting editor, First Post with us. Ishkaran Bhandari, lawyer. Atikur Rahman, Islamic scholar. Rashid Sharif, president, SIM PLB is also with us. Namaste and Jai Hind, gentlemen. Ishkaran Bhandari, in this age of digital direct benefit transfer, look at the number of accounts that have been created by banks, which are all farjiwala accounts. And this farjiwala is happening across the country in the name of minority institutions and scholarships drawn. Nearly 80 to 85% of these institutions, 830 institutions, turned out to be madrasas which don't even exist.
Anand, why only this case of the union ministry? See what happened when UP government did a madrasa survey. I will come to the union ministry. When the UP government did a madrasa survey, it found 8,500 of them are unregistered. It found that hundreds are not giving the source of funding which is coming to them. Or let us go to Assam, where the 1995 Act, in which madrasas, provincialized madrasas were being maintained out of state government funds, but they were imparting religious education. So it is across the board issue. Some places where you have unrecognized madrasas, some places where you have madrasas which do not want to tell you the source of funding coming to them, some places where the government funds are going into madrasas teaching Arabic, and now here in the union funds are going in a multiple layer scam. So it is not only the education department which was certifying it, it is district nodal officers, it is the banks which were doing KYC, it is a systematic way in which you said how in class 9 students were dropping out of school, so schools were not informing. It is a way in which there are more beneficiaries than the number of students in the school. So that entire edifice of minority education as built up in this country via funds from state governments, central governments, and from sources outside which are not being identified, is a thing which is a great disservice to the nation and to the minority students. It is extremely good that this has been caught, as should happen in Uttar Pradesh, as should happen in Assam, so that the people benefiting and profiting out of this, denying education to minorities or robbing the funds of the state, are all in jail. And I will not be very surprised if there is a conspiracy which spans across various states, and that is why the decision of CBI to investigate it is very, very required, because it is not being done only in one state.
Correct.
The modus operandi changes, the way it changes, as I said, the instances changes, but the entire scam seems to be operating on the field of minority education. And good, it's come to light. I hope it's solved once and for all.
Well, we are given to understand that the CBI was apprised of the matter around the 10th of July 2023. So nearly a month that the CBI has been investigating it, and we'll try and get more details out of this, because I'm very curious to know, Abhijit Majumdar, which is this bank and who is this bank officer who allowed 66,000 accounts to be opened? How is it possible that from one phone you can have 2,200 accounts to be opened?
Anand, minoritism, or this whole term minority or secularism, it's a sort of derivative of that in the political sense, is great business. You know, it's great business. You can make crores of rupees. People have come to power, become political parties. Is that just talking about minorities and secularism and all that. The point is, the second point is that this whole myth of the Modi government being against minorities, most of the scams and stuff are coming in front of us because of the Modi government and because of some of the actions of the Minorities Affairs Ministry. The ministry, because of the ministry, the cost of Hajj is about to go down by about 50,000 rupees per person. Because of the ministry, we found that there is a massive land scam going on in many states, including Karnataka, and this is the latest one that is coming to the fore. About ghost students in madrasas, ghost accounts, absolutely, where there are no basis to give money to. The third point, which you just said, how does one bank official, okay so many things? How are about 2,300 of these scholarships linked to one phone number? Is there a larger national security issue? Who are using it? Is there a systematic? Is there something much bigger than meets the eye than just individual corruption? Because we have seen in several cases in the Arab world, and the Arab world has even cracked down on it, how zakat money has been used for jihad and terror. I'm just saying that this is one angle that should be looked into. And the fourth very important point is,
correct,
madrasas are, they deny a Muslim child right to education. If they're only going to madrasa, there is no problem in religious education. But it should happen, after you go to a school, you go back home and then you get religious education. There are thousands of madrasas which don't adhere to curriculum. The government curriculum.
Yeah.
RT doesn't apply on minorities. Why?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't right to education not apply to minorities? So there are, at least I can think of 4 aspects of this problem. But yes, the term minority itself is great business, as we can see, and the biggest sufferers are Muslims.
Correct. It's a sorry state of affairs that despite all of these irregularities, there are still 26 lakh applicants this year, as confirmed by the Union Minister in her statement in Parliament. 26 lakh applicants. So every year nearly 2,300 crore rupees is being given out by central government, which is taxpayers' money, for scholarships. अब इसमें से पता लगता है शरीफ जी, रशीद शरीफ जी, कि 1572 इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ही खंगाला गया है. वेरिफिकेशन सिर्फ 1572 इंस्टीट्यूशंस का हुआ है रशीद जी, और उसमें से 830 फर्जी निकले हैं. इन 830 इंस्टीट्यूशंस ने पिछले 5 सालों में 144 करोड़ रुपए खींचे हैं और सब फेक हैं.
बिल्कुल सर, बड़ी अफसोस की खबर है आनंद जी. 144.83 करोड़ जो है सो आज जो खिलवाड़ हुआ है, ये खिलवाड़ पैसों का है, इसके साथ साथ बच्चों के फ्यूचर का खिलवाड़ हुआ है जी. बड़ी अफसोस की बात है, बड़ी अफसोस की बात है जो आज मैं न्यूज देख रहा हूं कि ये बच्चों का फ्यूचर है. सो आज एक बच्चा अगर तालीम हासिल करने जाता तो उसके घर वाले ये फील करते कि बच्चा जब काबिल बनेगा तो घर की जिम्मेदारी संभालेगा. अगर इस तरीके से अगर पैसों का खिलवाड़ कर देंगे, अगर चिड़िया चूक गई खेत, उसके बाद क्या सीबीआई क्या है सर, आप कोई भी आप लगा लीजिए, आप इंक्वायरी बिठा लीजिए, मगर होने वाला क्या है? अगर जो भी लोग इसमें हैं, जो भी इसके जिम्मेदार है, उनको सख्त से सख्त सजा मिलना चाहिए सर. अगर इस तरीके से माइनॉरिटीज, पहले तो माइनॉरिटीज के लिए जब से बीजेपी आई है, आप लोग तो हाल देख रहे हैं माइनॉरिटीज का क्या हाल है. अगर इस तरीके से और पीछे करते जाएंगे तो वो कब आगे बढ़ेंगे सर? उनका फ्यूचर क्या होगा? आप बता रहे कि इतने फिगर्स बता रहे, 5 साल तक सब क्या था बंद, सब आज बंद कर लिए 5 साल तक. इस तरीके से चलेंगे तो क्या हाल होगा माइनॉरिटी का, मुस्लिम्स का क्या हाल होगा सर? ये बहुत ही सीरियस नोट है सर. आप बहुत बड़ा जबरदस्त ये इशू उठाए हैं, मैं आपको मुबारकबाद पेश करता हूं इसके बारे में. और इसके रिजल्ट आना सर, इसके रिजल्ट बिल्कुल आना सर, क्योंकि बच्चों के साथ इस तरीके से काम नहीं कर सकते हम. बच्चों का फ्यूचर के साथ इस तरीके से है सो खिलवाड़ हम होने नहीं देंगे. बराबर है सो सर, इस पे है सो स्मृति ईरानी जी जो यूनियन मिनिस्टर है, वो भी मैं उनको भी इसका जिम्मेदार बताऊंगा, क्योंकि 5 साल तक उनके नाक के नीचे तमाशा चलते रहा.
पर 5 साल से नहीं चल रहा है रशीद जी. स्मृति ईरानी जी तो पिछले साल ही बन के आई है माइनॉरिटीज मिनिस्टर, लेकिन ये 2007-8 से चलता आ रहा है. 2007-8 से लेकर आज तक की तारीख में 8 करोड़ से ज्यादा स्कॉलरशिप दी जा चुकी है, जिसमें 22,000 करोड़ रुपया वो सरकारी टैक्स पेयर का पैसा इस तरह से खींच लिया गया है. अभी हर साल जैसे मैं आपको एवरेज बता रहा हूं 2,300 करोड़ रुपया ऐसे निकल के जाता है. और ये ऐसा नहीं है कि पैसा कम हुआ है, पैसा ज्यादा ही हो रहा है, क्योंकि एप्लीकेंट्स इस साल भी 26 लाख लोग हैं जिनको कि डायरेक्ट पैसा जा रहा है. द पॉइंट इज अतीकुर रहमान, इन द नेम ऑफ माइनॉरिटीज देयर इज अ गेम दैट्स बीइंग प्लेड. इमेजिन दैट क्लास 1 to 8 40 लाख स्कॉलरशिप एप्लीकेंट्स, दे से वी विल नॉट गिव द स्कॉलरशिप, हम कैंसिल कर देते हैं और कोई उफ तक नहीं करता. आज भी देखिए ना, हम लोग तो बात कर रहे हैं लेकिन कोई हाय तौबा नहीं मचा रहा, क्योंकि ये सब पूरा फेक था. somebody is running this racket, isn't it, in the name of minorities?
Anand, that's very, very great, to know that the ministry, at least, they have come to know that large-scale corruption was there. Now the question arises, Anand, who are the real, losers in this? The students are the real losers, the minority students, the Muslims, the madrasa people who are to get the things, benefits, but they were robbed of this. Now, was this possible, Anand, without the connivance of the government officials, the banking officials, the ministry officials? Point number 1. Now, we are hoping that this central government under the minority ministry will be, having a probe related to this. Now, so far the probe will be going and the CBI will be inquiring. I don't know whether CBI is involved or not, but
it is involved.
Years will pass on, the scholarships will be stopped, the scholarships will be stopped, the funding of the madrasas will be stopped. That's the main aim of the BJP government. They are trying to have, some sort of a lashing, a very severe lashing on the minorities. And as per my friend Abhijit Saab, he is instilling hopes in the minds of the Indians that everything secular, everything minority is corrupt, everything related to madrasa is corrupt, bad, and national security is involved in it. There is a threat to the nation, and we are hoping that this central government, the BJP RSS-led government, will be having a very fair probe, and this will be streamlined under, their leadership, who hopes to make a finance minister in Maharashtra who is under lens of the ED. So who loves corruption? The BJP loves corruption. Who loves the minorities? The BJP loves the minorities. Who loves to streamline national security? The BJP. All of us are under the lenses of the BJP. Are we hoping against hope, Anand? The entire ball is in the court of the government. What they intend to do with this? Will there be a white paper on it? Will the culprits, the real culprits will be, and so far the inquiry goes on, will the government stop the minority institutions funding and the scholarship?
No, it is very easy. It is very easy. You just need to verify. Those which are genuine will get the scholarship. Those who are farji will not get scholarship. अभी 40 लाख scholarship बंद किया, किसी ने उफ तक नहीं किया, पता लगा सब fake है सर. ये फर्जी वाला तो पहले से चल रहा है, अभी पकड़ा है. And the other thing, Atikur Rahman ji, Abhijit Manjumdar ने कहा कुछ और आपने समझा कुछ. So I just want to say that
constitution is in the making, wherein the word secular and minorities won't be
sir,
there.
frankly, Atikur Rahman ji, the original constitution did not have the word secular, and the original constitution did not define the word minorities. So for you to equate minorities with Muslim is wrong, is fundamentally, is figuratively wrong, because sir, a population of nearly 25 crores.
Of India have the word secular. The present constitution of India have the word secular.
But the present constitution of India had that. No, 1 minute, sir. The original constitution of India does not have the word secular, nor does it have a word socialist. These two words were inserted when Parliament was in suspension. When the nation was in emergency, it was inserted, what many claim fraudulently in 1977, 76, 77 during the period of emergency, and at that time these words were inserted.
So
no, Atikur Rahman, sir, let's not. One minute. You're talking about data and numbers. Let me also tell you, a population of 25 crores is the second largest majority in this country, sir. They are not a minority. So, जहाँ आपके नंबर बड़े वहाँ भी आप minority, जहाँ आपके नंबर छोटे वहाँ भी आप minority. That cannot be a negative. That cannot be a narrative. In our country, sir, Muslims are no longer minorities. They are the second largest majority. Minorities are those which are population less than 2 to 3% of the country's population. Not those who are more than 15% of the population today, country's population today. But Ishkar and Bhandari, some genuine concern. 1 minute. Atik ji, please yield. Atik ji, please yield.
Very good, Anand. Very good.
The idea. Atik ji, please yield. Atik ji, please yield. Atik ji, please yield. The definition of the word minority needs to be specified in the constitution. It's not been done. Whether or not the word secular should remain is a different point. Sir, the point is that the Farjiwada has been done by those who claim to be running madrasas in the name of Muslim students.
Yes.
So please don't blame the BJP and RSS for that. The other thing is, जिसने पकड़ा वो गलत, जिसने पकड़ा वो गलत, जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन कर रहा है वो गलत, जिसने चोरी की वो विक्टिम. Fantastic narrative. But Ishkaran Bhandari, yes please.
Mr. Rahman,
Atik ji, please.
Mr. Rahman, we can please do it. Anand, firstly, specifically Professor Shah from Bihar, who was a member of the Constitutional Assembly, raised.
Atik ji, please.
Atik
ji, please yield. I request you, sir. I request you, sir. You can heckle me, but Ishkaran did not heckle you. Please don't heckle the other panelists. You can reserve that for me. You can reserve that for me, but let Ishkaran speak. Yes.
Anand, Professor Shah, member from Bihar, specifically raised the fact that socialist and secular should be in the constitution, which Dr. Ambedkar rejected. Secular, he said, is superfluous because our constitution is secular, our ethos are secular. So the superfluous things you need to do when you're appeasing a particular vote bank, as needed to be done during the emergency. But let's come to this. This is the most convoluted logic I've ever had the pleasure of or displeasure of listening as Mr. Rahman came up. Ulta chor kotwal ko dante. So the government finds that there's a scam going on. Money allocated for students is going to criminals, and those criminals could be involved in any amount of nefarious activities. Usually criminal cartels are from drugs to terror to almost anything. If they are doing such an organized crime, but they should not be caught. What is done is a new bogey that the government wants to stop the scholarship. If the government wants to stop it, it can just pass an order saying we are stopping it. Nothing stops the government from either increasing or reducing the scholarship. That is their power. That's just their legislative, that's their executive power. So they don't need to go in such a convoluted manner. Like Hajj subsidies, the Supreme Court had to rule on it. And the result of that Supreme Court judgment we have seen. So let us be very clear, where you see conspiracy is merely the government catching criminals. I would have expected you to come out in support of the government and say you are doing a great job catching criminals who are taking away money from the minority students. Instead of
government,
that,
Anand, which government you are talking of?
Anand, this is not
the RSS-led BJP
Atikur Rahman, I will allow you a rebuttal, sir.
Okay, allow me to counter.
Yes, I will allow you a rebuttal. Let us not. You can keep both the two gentlemen on the frame. Please keep them on the frame. Yes, Karan, and then Atikur Rahman. Yeah, please.
It is a very simple issue. The issue is that due to fake IDs and fake documents and a multi-layer, multiple state scam, money and 53% have been found fake out of the data they saw. Money is being taken from the government of India and is going to criminals. Now to have a convoluted logic that the government wants to stop scholarship, so government is catching criminals. Next time if they jail somebody, you will say they do not want a person of this community to walk on the street even though he is stabbing somebody. Tomorrow somebody says Sartan se juda and chop somebody's head off. You will say don't arrest him because you want to jail a particular community. This is not logic. Mr. Rahman, you are a scholar. I would have expected better from you. At least when it comes to education of students, say that you have caught these people. Say that in 3 months, identify everybody. Say that in a time-bound manner, convict people. Those would be legitimate arguments. Please do not do fear-mongering, scare-mongering to save criminals.
Okay. Atikur Rahman, quick response, and then Abhijit Majumdar and Rashid Sharif, final words. Yeah. Atikur Rahman.
Thank you. Ishkaran, I am telling you that you want me to hope against hope. You want me to rely on a government which is led by RSS. Mind you, this particular government in the 10 years, they have made us realize. Please, thank you. Now, simple point, Anand, here is that if investigation is fair, I want it should be a fair investigation and the real culprit should be hanged till death. Here I am telling you that this particular government does not dislike corruption. The finance minister of Maharashtra has been said by the Prime Minister that ED has,
So your point, your limited point. I have limited time, Atikji, so I'm interrupting. No, I have limited time, Atikji, please. So I'll go to. So you are saying that will they really get to the bottom of it? You want them to get to the bottom of it, but you are apprehensive whether they will really get to the bottom. Okay, Abhijit Majumdar and Rashid Sharif. One minute, sir. Rashid Sharif ji, 27,000 मदरसे ही हैं जो रिकॉग्नाइज्ड हैं देश भर में, जबकि 1,75,000 से ज्यादा ऐसे मदरसों की लिस्ट बनी हुई है जो कि वहां पर ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं. डोंट यू थिंक दैट ऑल ऑफ देम नाउ नीड टू बी वेटेड एंड दे नीड टू बी ब्रॉट अंडर द मदरसा बोर्ड इफ दे वांट टू फंक्शन इन आवर कंट्री? एंड मेनी ऑफ दीज 27,000 ऑल्सो वी आर गिवन टू अंडरस्टैंड आर फर्जी. तो इस फर्जी वाले पे क्या विद इन द कम्युनिटी थोड़ा कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए? क्योंकि बच्चे तो कम्युनिटी से भी जा रहे हैं, माइनॉरिटी मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी से भी जा रहे हैं, क्रिश्चियंस हैं, जैन हैं, बौद्ध हैं, बहुत सारे हैं, सारे जगह हैं, पर जो फर्जीवाड़ा चल रहा है उसको रोकने के लिए कुछ कम्युनिटी से भी तो करना पड़ेगा.
बिल्कुल करना पड़ेगा सर, 100% करना पड़ेगा. कि अगर इस तरीके से अगर ये स्कॉलरशिप के बारे में जो आज डिबेट हो रही है, ये आज सबकी आंखें खोलने के लिए डिबेट हो रही है, चाहे वो माइनॉरिटीज के लिए हो, चाहे मदरसों के लिए हो, चाहे किसी के लिए भी हो. इस तरीके से बच्चों अभी भी बोल रहा हूँ सर, बच्चों के फ्यूचर से खेलना नहीं चाहिए, बिल्कुल नहीं चाहिए. आज जो मदरसों में अगर हो रहा है इस तरीके से, फौरी रुकना चाहिए. अगर मदरसों में कुछ अगर इस तरीके के जो गड़बड़ हो रही है स्कॉलरशिप के नाम से, तो फौरी उनको भी है सो एक कमेटी है सो जो मदरसे में ऑलरेडी होती है, उनको ईमानदार होना चाहिए. बच्चों को पढ़ाने के लिए जो फंड्स आ रहे हैं, चाहे वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट से हो और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के, जो बड़ी लापरवाही इसमें जो दिख रही है ना सर, ये बड़ी लापरवाही स्टेट गवर्नमेंट की. आप बताए थे स्टेट्स के बारे में, अभी बता रहे थे कि भाई यहाँ पे इतने हुए हैं. तो ये सर, या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट को भी इसकी जिम्मेदारी लेना चाहिए और जो जिम्मेदार है उनको बिल्कुल इसमें सजा मिलना चाहिए सर.
जी Final word, Abhijit Majumdar. I'm going over on the debate. Another minute. Yes, please.
Yeah, Anand, Atik Bhai said that it's, how can you expect him to, have any hope on the RSS or the BJP? Why? Because they also talk about Hindu issues. I mean, जब तक मुसलमान करो तब तक आप सेकुलर हो. जब भी हिंदुओं की बात करो आप कम्युनल हो जाते हो. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. But Atik Bhai also expects us never to raise questions on radical Islam, which is responsible for more than 95% of terror attacks worldwide, and many of Muslims are killed in that. And how the madrasas have learned. Please, no. I have listened.
No, he didn't heckle you. He didn't heckle you. You will not heckle him. Atikur Rahman. Only 30 more seconds to Abhijit Majumdar. Please reduce the volume of Atikur Rahman. I have only 30 seconds. That is to Abhijit Majumdar. He heard you carefully.
The thing is that even somebody like a communist party ka jo CM Buddhadev Bhattacharya, even he raised a red flag about madrasas. About thousands of madrasas which are giving completely radical teaching to children. So it is only fair to not just look into the funding but go beyond as to where this entire scam, where is the money going from this scam. And whatever जो भी institution ने ये सब किया है, जहाँ पे भी हुआ है, पहले तो उसको बंद करो, उसके बाद prove, let them first clean up the act, and then one should this thing. One should.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I've got to wind up this debate, but we'll continue to track this. We are expecting more details to stumble out, and there are many more skeletons out in the closet. You only want to know the details of those numbers and those banks, those branch officials who opened those accounts and who siphoned out this money. We'll get you those details in the coming days. For the moment, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, here on the right stand for some fantastic news for the residents of the Delhi and the National Capital Region thereabouts. Your travel time is all set to ease very soon. The much-awaited Dwarka Expressway connecting Delhi to Haryana will be open to public in the next 3 to 4 months. And here's all the details about it. First up, let's tell you about the Dwarka Expressway. Now, India's first 8-lane, this is India's first 8-lane elevated expressway. A 4-pack motorway. The length is 563 kilometers. The length is 563 kilometers. It will decongest National Highway 48 between Delhi and Gurugram. And it stretches between Shivmurti to the Khirki Tola area. So it's a total distance of about 29 kilometers. But there is a lot of road that's meant to connect it. Now, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has called the Dwarka Expressway a marvel of engineering. Here are some interesting details about it. The expressway was built using 2 lakh tons of steel, which is 30 times more than what was used to build the Eiffel Tower. 20 lakh cubic meters of cement concrete, which is 6 times more than that was used for the Burj Khalifa. And the Dwarka to Manesar journey itself, right now, it takes nearly an hour, but it will take only 15 minutes. That's the time. 15 minutes is the time from Dwarka to Manesar. The travel time is much reduced. Manesar to the IGI airport will be 20 minutes. It nearly takes about an hour and a half now. Dwarka to the Singhu border will be only 25 minutes. On a normal day, it takes nearly 1.5 hours. Manesar to the Singhu border, 45 minutes, beg your pardon. Manesar to Singhu border, 45 minutes, it takes about an hour and a half. So, distance, journey times halved or reduced by nearly 60%. However, the project is also under controversies ever since the Comptroller Auditor General of India alleged fund mismanagement. Now, here's what the CNAG report said. Cost escalation of construction of the expressway, and it also turned around and highlighted that the cost was pushed to 254 crore per kilometer from 18.2 crore per kilometer. This is according to the report that was tabled, that the project was sanctioned without a detailed report. This was on in Parliament on the 10th of August. The expressway was built at a very, very high cost, and that, apart from the kilometer cost of the project, CNAG report also claims the construction was sanctioned by the Road Ministry without a detailed project report. The government was very quick to counter this with certain facts. The CNAG figures lack proper context, says the government. And Union Minister Nitin Gadkari himself said that the CNAG's calculation method oversimplifies this complexity of the project. He said that the Dwarka Expressway was not actually 29 kilometers long as mentioned in the CNAG report, but around 230 kilometers long, because upway, downway, and of course the service roads, the tunnels, the underpasses and all the connecting roads. So the total lay was nearly 230 kilometers for this 29 kilometer stretch. He said that according to this, 9.5 crore was what was spent on every kilometer. So that's much less than what is allocated at 18.2 crore per kilometer. The government highlighted that the CNAG report didn't include flyovers, elevated roads, underpasses, tunnels and ring roads, as these additional components contribute significantly to the overall construction cost. Because ये सब तो बनाना ही पड़ेगा ना. The government also stated that it saved 12% overall in the construction cost. The government clarified that all contracts were given out for tender and they have been done with absolute transparency. They've been awarded. The average civil cost of rupees 206 crore per kilometer was put on the tender. Ultimately, the contracts were awarded at a reduced rate of 181.94 crore per kilometer, which reflects an overall 12% reduction. That's the claim by the government, and they're saying this is going to be a spectacle that Delhi had been much waiting for quite a long time. The inauguration should happen very, very soon. Nearly 99% of this expressway has been completed. We're going to take a very, very short break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we turn the spotlight towards Jammu and Kashmir, where since the 90s, an ISI plant was thriving, drawing salaries from the state exchequer and planting, seeding secessionism in Jammu and Kashmir. The crackdown on eliminating this terror ecosystem, the details when we come back. Stay with us.
LIC presents
the hospital authorities and the director of the hospital, this is a private hospital, very categorically informed me that the DCP and the ACP are inside and they have told the hospital authorities to not allow me to visit the survivor. So I fail to understand what is the Delhi police's problem. Why should I not meet the survivor? After several hours of waiting, now 1 hour back, the hospital authorities came with some letter in which 2 lines have been written by somebody and the hospital authorities are saying that the girl's mother does not want to meet with me. Now I don't understand. If she doesn't want to meet with me, I can be allowed to just go and approach her once.
When has this letter come to you, Swati? When has this letter been shown to you?
What the Delhi Commission for Women is? This was shown an hour back. Okay. And since after that letter was shown to me, the NCPCR chairperson has been allowed to go and meet the survivor as well as the family. Then why not the Delhi Commission for Women? What is the problem? Because NCPCR is not asking hard questions from the Delhi police. No, the Delhi Commission for Women is asking hard questions. Why is it that this man was not arrested? Why did it, they registered an FIR on 13th of August. They were aware. Why was an FIR, after the FIR, why was he not arrested when in every other case you arrest the person immediately after a POXO case is registered? Yes. Isn't this case similar to the Brij Bhushan Singh case where an FIR was registered only after the intervention of the Supreme Court and they did not arrest him? Only after so much pressure has been created, this person has now been arrested. I'm detained. I'm not very sure if he has been arrested.
He's been arrested.
With his wife.
I think
strongest action needs to be taken against him. Okay, so strongest action needs to be taken against him, and we have issued a notice to the Delhi government as well, because I want to understand what all sensitive positions was he at earlier and whether any case has been filed against him earlier. What is the status of these cases? Is any case pending against this man in any of the courts? I think that investigation has to happen. But first and foremost, I have to meet the survivor. It is my first and foremost duty. Now 7 hours they make me sit here without making me meet the survivor. I really don't know what is the Delhi police up to and why are they acting like goons.
A horrific case of rape of a minor comes to light from the national capital once again. Only this time, the offender, the accused, is the very man who had taken the girl under his guardianship after the death of his father and her father and his friend. Now that's how upsetting this entire tale is, which is what we are breaking down for you. The accused in question here is a senior officer in the Delhi government's Women and Child Development Department, and he is accused of raping his friend's 16-year-old daughter for several months and impregnating her. The Delhi police have booked the accused and his wife on charges of rape under the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences or the POCSO Act. This after the girl said that she was raped by the officer several times between the year 2020 and 2021, and his wife even terminated her pregnancy by giving her abortion pills. As per the police, the girl's family and the accused met around 3 years ago. When the girl lost her father in 2020, the accused, who lives with his wife and son, allegedly offered to take her to his home and care for her. We are given to understand that the girl's mother agreed to this arrangement as they were friends. It was in the year 2021, after having been raped for months, that the girl got pregnant, and that's when the accused involved his wife in the matter, who then ordered for abortion pills and terminated the child's pregnancy. As per the girl's family, she fell sick later and was taken back by her mother. The mother later took her to the doctors and specialists, who found that the child was abused for months by the officer and the family. And that's how the story stands. After almost 2 years, when the child's mother knows about what her daughter went through, where the police and the child welfare authorities got involved. Even as the matter is being investigated, the girl's statement has been recorded in front of a magistrate only now. And despite the case being lodged under POCSO, remember, no immediate arrest of the accused was made. In fact, he was only detained this afternoon after the story generated much furor and then arrested just a short while back. The DCW chief, Swati Maliwal, who is known for her gallant and independent approach towards issues related to girls and women's, especially their safety and security, she too is questioning police's delayed action. But there are fingers that are being pointed at her too, as to how did a case of this nature not come to her notice. After all, it is an officer under the Delhi government's Women and Child Development Department. And then why is Atishi, the minister holding that portfolio, silent on the horror? Also, BJP and Aam Aadmi Party have been quick to bring in politics and blame game in a matter as sensitive as this, with the Aam Aadmi Party claiming that services are no longer under the Delhi government and the BJP questioning Maliwal's silence as selective. Swati Maliwal, the DCW chief, who is at the center of this entire furor, unfortunately, and is currently at the very hospital where the girl is being treated and is still at the dharna, the protest that she is undertaken, because she's still not been allowed to meet with the victim. Is that true, Swati? It's been too many hours that have been elapsed, but you're still there, I believe, at the same position, but you're not yet allowed to meet with the victim, the survivor?
Back on the right stand, ladies and gentlemen, with the update that for 33 years, this man, Sajjad Ahmed Bazaz, was allegedly working at the behest of the Pak ISI. He was an ISI mole, a plant and asset who was operating in the erstwhile state of Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, and in the Union Territory, currently the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And in a first of its kind move, the Jammu and Kashmir Bank sacked its chief manager, Sajjad Ahmed Bazaz, after investigations unraveled that he had links with the Pak ISI and also was in touch with terror outfits. The bank officials in a statement said that Sajjad Bazaz was sacked as he posed a threat to the security of the state. So what did the probe agencies actually find? They found that the Pak proxy, this Pak proxy is under the scanner, and during its course of investigations, it has been proven that Sajjad Ahmed Bazaz is a resident of Batmalu in Jammu and Kashmir. Then in 1990, he was planted in Jammu and Kashmir Bank by the Pak ISI via Fayaz Kalu, the owner and editor of Greater Kashmir. Sajjad Bazaz was appointed to the post of cashier cum clerk. In 2004, he got promoted to head of internal communications. Sajjad was promoted thrice despite not clearing the Kajip certified associate of Indian Institute of Bankers examination. Despite that, he was promoted. The requirement for a written test was also dropped for him in this case. Sensational details about Sajjad had thereafter emerged during this investigation. One, that he was secretly working for the Pak ISI. 2, he was a deep asset of the terrorist separatist network. 3, he was allegedly illegally working at Greater Kashmir also. He wrote articles supporting the Pakistani agenda, soft separatist tones. His articles glorified terrorist secessionist campaign in Jammu and Kashmir. He also used different pen names to conceal his real identity. He added one additional J and also dropped his surname Bazaz for his articles. So he became Sajjad Ahmad, but it was him all along. He toed the Pak line of UN intervention in Jammu and Kashmir, tripartite talks and human rights violations in his columns titled Off the Record and What's Up. He communicated with Masood Azhar's close aide Shabir Bukhari. And not just that, he even used the Jammu and Kashmir bank money to further Pak propaganda. Intel sources further reveal that he funded select few newspapers and magazines in Jammu and Kashmir, giving them loans and doles. Funding was done through advertisement money drawn from the Jammu and Kashmir bank. Sajjad also owned and operated around 68 accounts in the J&K bank. From 2015 to 2023, Greater Kashmir received disproportionately higher and favorable allotments. And in 2012, there was a sudden surge in pro-Pak newspapers and magazines in Jammu and Kashmir. Sajjad Bazaz's agenda was to propagate and amplify Pak jihadi narrative, anti-India narrative. His aim was to push the Pak ISI narrative in a very, very vitriolic manner. The crackdown on Jammu and Kashmir government by the Jammu and Kashmir government has irked many, with former chief ministers, PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti slamming the J&K administration. And she has also gone on to say in her words that you are selectively terminating Kashmiri employees from service, wrongfully dubbing them as terror sympathizers and pro-Pak, accused not given a chance to prove their innocence, hooliganism to frighten Kashmiris into submission. But the Jammu and Kashmir LG, Manoj Sinha ji, making it very clear that there will be no compromise in the fight against terrorism and terror assets. Listen in.
भारत के संविधान का जब निर्माण हो रहा था तो 311 का जो प्रोविजन है उस समय के हमारे देश के संविधान निर्माताओं ने, चाहे डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर हो, सरदार पटेल, सबने ये व्यवस्था रखी थी कि जिन तत्वों से स्टेट को खतरा है, जो इंटीग्रिटी के लिए खतरे हैं, उन पर कार्रवाई की जा सके और पूरे साक्ष्य के साथ कार्रवाई की गई। और इसलिए कौन क्या कहता है ये महत्वपूर्ण नहीं है, ये मैं फिर दोहराना चाहता हूं, ये हमारे सरकार की सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है कि जिसका भी टेरर इकोसिस्टम से संबंध रहा है, जिसने भी आतंकवाद को बढ़ाने में अपना योगदान दिया है, गलत तरीके से अगर वो सरकारी नौकरी में आया है, तो जब जब प्रमाण मिलेगा, साक्ष्य मिलेगा, उन्हें निश्चित रूप से उनके खिलाफ विधिक ढंग से कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
Ahmed Ayaz and Lalit Ambardar with us. Lalit Ambardar, your reaction to this crackdown?
Anand, I have been always maintaining there was a quasi-Islamic state, a mini Pakistan flourishing in Kashmir all these 70 years since Article 370 was accorded to Kashmir. And what were the main components of this Islamic state? Number one, the so-called mainstream of Kashmir. Abdullahs and Muftis are the original Islamists of Kashmir. They never speak a word against Pakistan because Pakistan said rishta kya la ilaha illallah. And then you had Hurriyat, for example, overgrown separatists, stooges of Pakistan. Durrani and Dulat in their jointly authored book says, Dulat says Hurriyat was our representation in Kashmir. And then you had underground jihadis, AK-740 sitting jihadis, stooges of ISI operating in Kashmir, killing Hindus, killing Indians in Kashmir. And then fourth, which is very, very important, that was the administrative ecosystem that enabled this mini quasi-Islamic state to flourish in Kashmir. That was penetration of Pakistani stooges in administration. Vis-a-vis, for example, academia, universities, colleges, that's the education. Then your banking system, general administration. Now this man, if you start cleansing all of these elements from the Kashmir administrative system, the governance system, then you will left no one there. So I'm glad they are targeting at least the kingpins. They're targeting the kingpins. Can you imagine? he got planted by ISI. ISI is in Rawalpindi. They operating in GHQ Rawalpindi. But who enabled him to enter Jammu Kashmir Bank? I'm sure these are Indian Kashmiri Muslims living in Kashmir. The administration that who was heading the Jammu and Kashmir Bank that time, and who were the ministers, who were the political push behind this man, and how was he raising money to all these anti-India propaganda machinery press operating in Kashmir. And don't forget, this is the reason that Kashmiri Hindu genocide was never acknowledged. Not even one perpetrator of rape, murder, mass murder ever even charged, because these people ran the system there. वो कहते हैं ना कि हुकूमत तुम्हारी है, system तो हमारा चलेगा. This was the Islamo-fascistic ecosystem that was flourishing in Kashmir, and on 5th August 2019 you began the process of dismantling this very Islamo-fascist ecosystem. It's an old disease. It will take time, but Kashmir Jihad remains a military problem that has to be tackled militarily, and it is being done so as we talk. There was an attempt to breach. It has been thwarted by Indian security forces to breach LOC, and there's an ongoing encounter in South Kashmir.
Yes, it is.
Kashmir Jihad is on, is kicking.
See,
and
because that desperation is
but
visible.
This non-military Pakistan stooges operating in the system on Kashmir, they have to be weeded out. I think that's very, very important.
See, in the last 4 years, more than about
all the system administration, they have to be weeded out.
It took about a year and a half to 2 years, Lalit
lobby to flourish in Kashmir.
It took about a year and a half to 2 years before they started cracking down on it since the abrogation of 370. But so far, more than 50% people. I think if I remember correctly, at least 54. That includes police personnel,
you're right.
academicians, journalists, and also doctors. They've all been sacked or acted against, including bureaucrats or people working in the government. Ahmed Ayaz, now these people were pushing narratives. These people were trying to set the tone, and the entire nation was falling prey to it. And they were all stooges of ISI. This guy Sajjad Bazaz.
See, Anand, well, there could be appointments done wrongly, and then the promotions of the employees done with certain considerations. That to that extent, we agree, and there's nothing wrong in agreeing to that extent. But to say that somebody is involved in, security of the state and in subversive activities or the activities like what has been talked about, this Sajjad Bazaz, I think sitting here it will be very difficult for us to say that it is there. We have to only believe the agencies and the system to say that what's what about it. Believing that he was involved, he has some involvement in all these things. Then the point is whether there is a system to see that there is a system called conduct rules and then code of conduct, and then the standing orders 1947 which govern the services of the employees. So question here is how is that even if somebody is found to be involved in any activity, isn't that he is to be given the opportunity of being heard and inquiries to be conducted, and then the principles of natural justice are not to be followed? Is that we call it simply an hire and fire system in a country, the democratic country like India? I don't think that part is correct. Well, if there is an involvement of somebody, he need to be given an opportunity, he need to be heard, and he has to be given, the justice of nature.
Well, I have limited time. I just need to read this out about Sajjad Ahmed Bazaz, which is coming from the Jammu and Kashmir government and also the intel sources. Now, he's a critical component of the overall terror ecosystem, carefully nurtured by the adversary, and the most defining feature of this ecosystem is to try and maintain an air gap by layering between gun-wielding terrorists and the entire paraphernalia that supports and protects these terrorists in a variety of ways. These include creating and providing popular legitimacy through a combination of fear of gun and propagation of false narrative, obstructing and subverting the rule of law through bar associations and advocates when the law enforcement attempts to book them, and then to take the matter to legal conclusion. Arrange strategic logistics such as finances and tactical logistics such as SIM cards, phones, transport, food, medical attention, hideouts, information and law enforcement agencies and security forces, parallel intelligence network to identify and kill all those who try and expose the terrorists and their ecosystem. Sajjad Ahmed Bazaz is in frequent communication with another linchpin of the terror ecosystem, namely Shabir Hussain Buch of Srinagar. Shabir Hussain Buch is known close associate of Mushtaq Latram, chief of the Al Umar terror outfit and a constituent member of the UJC and a close, that is the United Jihad Council, and a close associate of Masood Azhar, the Jaish-e-Mohammed chief. Latram and Masood are operating from Pakistan. So this is the further proof that this man was up to no good. He was the front.
I agree.
He was the front, sir. Beyond doubt, he was the front.
I agree.
Sir,
I agree, Anand, but don't
take
you
this.
think that
We will
this needed to be listed?
No, the lid has come off. That's why he's been sacked and action will be taken. I have to wind up on that note. Thank you very much, Lalit Ambardar and
Anand.
thank you. I have to wind up, sir. I've run out of time. Brass tacks with Zaka.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. There's been a shocking case of a repeated rape of a young teenage girl, a 14-year-old, by a Delhi government official. Now, this man is a deputy director in the Women and Child Development Department. He is one of those who is supposed to be protecting our sisters and our daughters. That is his job. That is what the Sarkar or the government is paying him money for.